All right, so here we live in the upside down kingdom. So we're kind of ruled by like our root chakra. You know what I'm saying? This is over strong impulse drives such as like power, strength, anger, instinct, sex. You know, that comes from the root chakra. Um, it's a spiritual representation of a bestial drive, you know, pertaining to like Euros, Valentine, you know, Euros. Like take for instance, there's three different types of love, right? And Euros is like more of the physical and sensual side of the game. So the mighty archer, you know what I'm saying, on the horse, I believe is the same thing as like the anointed cherub that fell. I believe that cherub is Cupid from Valentine's Day, because Cupid is an archer, and you know, individuals would be tempted to fall in love over physical and sensual affections rather than having a deeper underlying connection pertaining to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? But in this world, like you said in Sex in the City, you know, sex is the paperclip of society. You know, how people move up in echelons, you know, how people get by, this, that, and the other. It's an active living form of currency. And it's bestial. And it also goes into other black market things such as wet work, illegal gambling, and business and things like that. Because the nature of the system is no one can get ahead, you know, so you have to take your chances wisely. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know, a wilderness, you know, and a lot of individuals live by what did it say? The whole of the law, to do as thou wilt, is, I believe, the Crowleyan method, you know, that I do believe goes along with Masonry, you know, which is the knowledge of man and makes sense pertaining to this world. It's absolute madness to try your best to be, you know, a pacifist in a very cruel world, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, the knowledge of man, these things are temporal. It's a fire, and a fire needs to be able to breathe. If a fire cannot breathe, it will go out. Okay, so as man is temporal, so is his knowledge, and so is this world. All of those things are passing away, right? But Christ is eternal. All right. So when people get into Masonry and this upside down kingdom pertaining to knowledge, this knowledge they're going to have is temporal knowledge. You know, how to make it in this world, so on and so forth, and what have you. But making it in this world is contradictory to your spiritual growth, because that's going to cause you to rely on faith and things of this other nature. Not in the sense of the fact that you don't have faith, but your faith can be stronger, okay, if it's tested more. I mean, that's just common sense. But who wants to be tested concerning faith? That is a nightmare. But it's no way around this thing. All right? You know, so this, if you don't have knowledge, you're forced into sex work. You know what I'm saying? And you're forced in to be ran the mill on until you join Masonry. Masonry, you know, they go by knowledge and favors and leverage, and that's why gossip is so hot and this, that, and the other, and connecting dots. But it all pertains to things that is guttural and maybe secrets pertaining to things that is suspect, you know what I'm saying, whether by angst or otherwise. And you know what I'm saying, not exposing your brother or sister, not being a so-called rat. Yeah, I mean, sex is the paperclip of society. It is. And if you're not willing to put out or give ass for gas or do anything sexual to earn $1 until you're used up and destroyed, you know, you basically be hanging out on a limb, going by faith. And that's what I've been doing. You know, I get help as I can. But the truth of the matter is I really don't have that much. I scrounge up, you know, change or whatever. You guys, this is what it is. For me, I'm not complaining about it. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to forfeit my integrity to be a slave. When I could be a slave unto going in the way and hoping for it to be accounted righteous, you know, rather than being filled with grief and shame just for an opportunity to work, you know. It's like what you have to give in order to serve doesn't make sense here. But people need to do it as they're willing to live. We just accept the way that things are. And you know, the fact of the matter is to me, it's unacceptable. You know, but this is the ways of the world. I don't control the way that the world runs. You know what I'm saying? Or anything like that. But for me, I'm just moving on the stream. And I'm saying for individuals that wish to do the same, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have everything that you want to have or anything like that. But I am saying that it is quite potentially possible. But when things are possible, know that when you use the word possible, things may be difficult. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to juggle. You got to know how to watch your own back. You know what I'm saying? Be aware of your surroundings, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? This is a world that is ruled by the root chakra, which is the red light. You know, your base drives and what have you. Very powerful drives. You know, it's that type of world. Kill or be killed. You know, anything visceral. It's the visceral world. And, you know, like I said, without the word of God, which is called the breath of life, you know, fire needs to be able to breathe. And if fire is unable to breathe without the wisdom of God, and knowledge is temporal, and there are ways, you know what I'm saying, are ways in which they cancel each other out, whether by sex or war. You know what I'm saying? This is a wilderness. This is you're living through a nightmare. That's why the scripture says that you will be given a crown of life, meaning, you know, the ways that you go will be able to go and conduct yourself and things like that. You'll be able to win your mind, you know, and, you know, be able to keep yourself safe and things of this nature, because you will be thinking in a higher way. So I do believe, from the outside looking in, and if I'm being offensive to some Masons, I apologize. But from the outside looking in, it seems like based on this world that certain professions and workers work a red light. And that light exploits good characters for their throne and their natural life. You know what I'm saying? You know, their throne. You know, their mind, their body, and their soul. You know what I'm saying? They're exploited for that nonetheless, just to have something to eat, you know? And, you know, I can't really agree with it. That enforces the red light. You know, when I was growing up, I had different jobs. I could have saved, you know what I'm saying, money. I didn't know there would be potentially a day that I would have 2 degrees and not be able to get a part-time job. That doesn't make any sense. So, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the way this world is set up, it's a system that is set up that, unless you don't get involved in the spiritual bondage of, you know what I'm saying, you know, sucking and fucking to have an opportunity to work and shit. Gosh damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, You just be ass out to the motherfucker. I'm just fucking, forgive my language, but I can't believe this shit, bro. It's a fucked up. It's not funny, yo. It's a fucked up. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life, bro. I'm saying this shit is crazy, right? So the anointed cherub 23. You know what I'm saying? I believe Cupid is the red dragon. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the mighty archer. You know what I'm saying? That tempts, because these, you know, sex will tempt individuals to elope and get in a relationship that they should get in because something is good. You know? So that's what I gotta say about that. You know? And this is just my honest take on it, you know. The thirst. You see this mouth, this succubus mouth about to go down and eat that damn mushroom tip, that fucking broccoli, that fucking broccoli with the cowboy hat on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The thirst, the lips, you know what I'm saying, is crazy. You know, it's written in scripture that the whore rides the beast. Okay? And considering the type of work that individuals are exploited for in society, it seems like, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, these women are forced to wear the red dress. You know what I'm saying? And get a bag by any means necessary. Because if you don't, you might not be able to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you know, I think that the freaking mushroom tip, it might be the little horn that rises up. You know what I'm saying? Because the mushroom tip, you know what I'm saying, a dude situation, you know what I'm saying, in its pride is the little horn all the other gods of the earth are controlled by. You know what I'm saying? And when that little horn rises up, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, it's got its own agenda. You know what I'm saying? When the little horn rises up, it's got its own agenda. It doesn't give a damn about anything else that's going on. It's got its own agenda. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in terms of like the whore riding the beast, you know, these sex workers, these red lighters, you know, they travel around the country. They go from state to state, you know, making money and stuff like that. They like globetrotters. You know what I'm saying? So the whore that rides the beast means like the profession, not necessarily of prostitution, because prostitution in one way rides the beast in terms of certain industry connected with such meetings and greetings and touring the world. A prostitute is not necessarily a whore. A whore is somebody who will do something differently. It's not necessarily a profession where there's an exchange of money. So this tells me that there's a lot of leverage in masonry and what have you, you know, and in society. A favor for a favor, because money could get tight in this country and this, that, and the other. And I realize, like, I'm out here in the wilderness and shit with all these animals, and I don't got no damn survival skills. So I'll depend on the word for everything. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a creature myself. You know what I'm saying? I do wish for water, but I you know what I'm saying? I don't thirst after it. You understand? I believe that the worm that dieth not, okay, which I understand, you know, that people are into, like, you know, the Egyptian gods and things like that, and believe that's that. On one level, it could be that, but when you're looking at something spiritually, you know what I'm saying, it could come in many different forms. When you think of the worm that dieth not, or the bottomless pit, you know what I'm saying, is from your mouth, which has your esophagus, all the way down to your rectum, your anus. It's like a bottomless pit, because you eat something that goes down all the way through your intestines, like a worm, you know what I'm saying, by contraction and what have you. And then you poop it out and it goes into a toilet and it goes into another pipeline or system. So it's like a bottomless pit. You know what I'm saying? The things that you consume. So the anus, or is as a root chakra, would appear to be as a star. Okay. Also in the carnal sense. So somebody that is not into so-called the energy fields, but is carnally minded, the anus would represent, the star or the base of that chakra or what have you. This is, you know what I'm saying, if you're saying a planet or whatever, curiously, your anus, right? You know what I'm saying, would be, kind of has a star, you know what I'm saying, resemblance to it. So when we talk about pride or whatever is, we know that sometimes we don't always romance in terms to make a baby. But when we become selfish is when we perpetually, as society as a whole, get more preoccupied with sensuality to the point where we're intentionally averting making babies. And not to point any fingers, but the pride movement is not going to really bring about any newborns for the most part. So we got to think about the curve of the future. If everybody's saying that, start saying, that they don't deal, with tacos in that way. You feel what I'm saying? Because tacos are important. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This world is into, going through the back door or sloppy top. The problem with that is none of those things produce babies. And so, it's a ways of the world, and it's a way of knowledge, and knowledge is a way of utilizing something not for which it was intended. And this is not to say that God is not, against certain activities, but given the type of world that we're in and soul ties and what have you, you do have to take care and to mind. This is not the Garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? What exactly, you're dealing with. There's mixture here in terms of psychology and behavior and issues. And when you have relations with somebody, that intimacy that some would call as a power exchange, certain characteristics can come into play, or bad habits, creating that soul tie with the individual. But I believe the whore that rides the beast is of the working knowledge, of ladies and business professionals that is caught within a network, you know what I'm saying, that pertains to either leverage or finances, that is kind of like a free enterprise infiltration into certain systems of financial gain or working in corporate society, pertains to job opportunities and what have you. But, none of these things make babies, and they ruin relationship and marriage. It's like the sexes can also be like a weed that tears away, good wheat. You know what I'm saying? It could be something that is as a locust type of activity. So, individuals in their thirst, become succubi and incubi. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? They have a vampirish mentality. Everybody's searching for something, everybody wants something, and everything costs something. It isn't, things here isn't necessarily free. So, sloppy top, red chakra, or, the little horn is like a bull. And when it rises up, it's got its own agenda. And as God say, my ways are higher than your ways, he's speaking of the ways of your flesh, your carnality. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, this was just how I look at things and how I see, business and trade in certain markets of society. You know what I'm saying? And what type of leverage and financial situations that it may stress an individual who do not have the means to be completely exploited and vulnerable, not only to the system, but those in the know of what means that individual will have to go through in order to survive in a country as America. That's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? How circumstance is a thing that can control individuals that may have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? That individual that you may think is an alcoholic isn't an alcoholic. That individual is an alcoholic because there's a situation that they're dealing with that is so effed up, you know what I'm saying, that just to make it, like if you have to, you know, give up your ass just for a plate of food to make it to the next freaking day, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, like, that's a horrible situation. You know, you shouldn't even have to make those type of decisions, especially like in America. You know what I'm saying? And this is how individuals that are much older can exploit the youth, you know, pertaining to money, necessities, and needs and things of this nature. And that's exactly what happens. But I'm thinking like, damn, I could have saved more money when I was in school. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know all of a sudden like the world was going to turn out this way. The world I came from was nothing like this. It is, every day is exactly the same here. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, America, you know, with the migrants in New York and everything, it's like it's, you know, we're echoing kind of like that third world country. You know what I'm saying? It's looking interesting. But anyways, man, peace and blessings be with you all. All praise and glory to the Most High. You know, take care of yourself out there. I'm out. Peace.